pretty interesting person, and we have a lot of different types of things to talk about, Thompson. But a couple weeks ago, you did release your track, Nicole Aniston. Before we get into all of that good stuff, though, could you take us back a bit and talk about your origin story and how you got into making music first?
Yeah, so like pretty much my mom's a concert pianist, so I started playing violin super young. And I traveled the world as a concert violinist from 14 to 24. So I played all around Europe and then I ended up moving to America. And then when I moved to America, I started producing music. And that's when I was like, well, how do I promote my music? So I started running giant YouTube channels. So I built a lot of really large YouTubers and then I would place my music in their channels and that kind of grew it all out. And then over the last 2 years, I've been rescuing animals. So I have like two kangaroos, I have snakes, I have lizards, I have all kinds of crazy stuff. And then just like recently I've just kind of been like wanting to get back into like putting out music again. So I just had that. So that was the first song I put out in a little while.
Yes. Wow. The list goes on and on of things you got under your belt these days, Thompson. Now, how would you describe the sound of your music to someone who maybe hasn't heard any of it yet?
So it's kind of like it's like distorted. It's kind of like a hip hop beat mixed with like EDM, and it's like distorted. So the whole thing kind of came about because there's like the genre of funk is it's pretty newish. It came from like Memphis hip hop beats and then kind of went to Russia, and then it is what it is now. But there's a weird subgenre called drift funk for like sort of the car community. And all my friends are professional drift drivers, and we rent the racetrack and go drifting like every couple of weekends. So it kind of just like kind of fit exactly into what I do and all my friends.
Yes, that actually explains very much the Nicole Aniston music video that I watched. So let's talk about the song a bit. What inspired this track for you?
So I've known Nicole for a while, and she actually loves doing Reiki and tarot card readings. So I went to her house and she did a Reiki session and the tarot card readings with me. And then I was like, you know what? Why don't I just record your voice and throw it in a song and see how it turns out? Just to like show her like a whole different side of her. And that's kind of like where it came from. So it was a super fun experience. It's very random.
It is a bit random, but that's what makes it great in the video. It seems like a lot of your friends are in it, right? Drifting in the video?
Yeah, so the race cars in the video are actually the race cars from the Pro Series of Formula Drift, and that's my friend's shop who basically builds the race cars for all the series. And then that was the racing drone shots of us actually going out and practicing. So yeah, it's all tied in back to the like it's actually what it is. It's not like just random stock footage of cars racing. It's actually my friends racing. It's actually the pro shop where the cars are built. So it's all kind of ties in together.
Totally. That's so cool. Now, as you mentioned, you've toured around the world with orchestras even from a young age. So I'm curious, what was your favorite country to visit and where would you love to play again?
I love London just because I don't know, I just like so I have a lot of friends there, and then just the whole music scene in general. But I think one of the most funnest is like I opened the Australian Embassy in Berlin when I was 14.
Wow.
Um, so that was a really cool experience, and I just kind of that one sticks out. But I was just so young, so kind of like thinking back then. I remember when I was there, I was 14, yeah, and I got drunk for the first time in the youth hostel we were staying at. It was very crazy.
That's awesome. Lots of good memories from that whole experience, I am sure. And in addition to music, you talked about your animals a bit, but I want to dive into this more. You are the guardian to over 100 animals. Can you talk about how that started a bit?
Yeah, so when I was in Australia, I used to rescue parrots. So I had a hawk that had a broken leg, and then I had a pink and grey galah that got kicked out of a nesting box and had to feed 6 times a day with a syringe, and then you can't re-release them into the wild because they just bond to you. So I had a lot of parrots. So then when I moved to America, I used to go to Gold's Gym in Venice Beach. That's where I filmed my friend who was Mr. Universe. And what would happen is people would come up at the gym and like my snake bit me and I'm scared of it now. So I'll be like, okay, I'll take it. And then another friend had an anaconda and he was like, he had a dog and he was worried the snake was going to get out and eat his dog. So I took the anaconda in and then it just then I started meeting everybody in the kind of animal community and like so I've done a lot with that. So there's a guy called Real Tarzan. So me and him have been like rattlesnake hunting together, just to like not to kill, but to go just
Sure.
to go look at him. So yeah, just kind of like I just love animals and being around nature, and it kind of all just started from there, and then it kind of just expanded.
I love that about you. That's so fun. Do you have, of all the animals, a favorite or even just like a favorite breed?
Um, It's hard to pick favorites, but I have a black dragon, which is a water monitor, and he's just extremely friendly, especially because he's still a juvenile, but like he doesn't snap at you, he doesn't bite, nothing. He's just so sweet. So he's one of my favorites.
That's freaking awesome. Now, as if you're not busy enough, you also have a podcast called Shoot Your Shot. It's an interactive dating podcast, which I just love the sound of that. How did that come together for you?
Just like at the time, I wanted to do a podcast, but I didn't want to just kind of be another pop culture, just talking with my friends. Because I feel like they've already done every other podcast talking about that kind of stuff. So I thought it would just be kind of more fun to bring them on a show where they went on 4 speed dates, and I kind of try and find love. Um, the funny thing is the datees are the ones that have all kind of joined forces. So I moved to Vegas now, and a lot of the guys that have been on the show are now friends. So they've created this whole friendship group from being on the show, which is hilarious. So yeah, it's really fun, and then it kind of like takes, I guess, the pressure off of being a host because you don't really have to worry about the questions once they're on 4 3 minute speed dates, because if it goes well, fantastic. If it goes bad, it's also fantastic. And if it's awkward, it's also fantastic. So there's like really no bad way it can go for content, at least. So it's a lot of
Yes.
fun.
Oh, I love the idea of that. That is super fun. And even as you mentioned, social media is a big part of what you do in a lot of different ways. What advice would you give to somebody who is trying to go viral?
So what I would suggest is you want to do something where if somebody sees you for 1 second and their friend sees you for 1 second, they're able to explain who you are like straight away. So for instance, for me, it could be like playing violin with a snake around my neck. If you see it for 1 second and their friend sees it and you're like, have you seen the video of the guy playing violin with the snake around his neck? They're gonna remember that. So I think that's pretty the best advice I could really give. Just don't blend in with the crowd.
That is great advice for many different things, especially social media, because there's so many
Yeah.
people out there trying to do things, just be memorable. That's great.
Yeah.
Now,
Yeah.
last but certainly not least, Thompson, here in Maine, where I live, our state motto is the way life should be. So I'd love to know, according to you, what is the way life should be?
Go for what you like, what your dreams are, never give up on them, because I feel like I've just gone for my dreams so many times and failed and failed and failed, but eventually they like you figure out every time you fail, you try again, and you don't fail the same way, you fail a different way, and then you fix that and you try again, you fail a different way and you fix that, and you keep going until finally you realize, okay, these are the missing parts, and you get to your goal. You just can just never quit. Never
Yes.
quit.
The only way you can fail is if you quit. It's all about trial and error out here, right?
Yeah,
For sure.
exactly.
Well, thank you so much for taking the time to chat with me today. Everyone, go stream Nicole Aniston. Any new music that we have to look forward to soon, Thompson?
Yeah, so I have a track coming out with the Dragon Boys from Brazil. They're the biggest vocalists in the funk genre from Brazil. They're really great guys. So that's coming out the 14th of July. So I'm super excited for that one.
Amazing. Perfect new release for summer. I cannot wait to hear it and everything else you do. Everyone, definitely follow this man for some solid entertainment.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. It was great to meet you, Thompson. Take care.
You too.
Bye.
Bye.